Mr. Larry Grimes, Jason Hunter, how are you, sir?
What are you doing,
I'm great.
KJ?
Been way better, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
It's one of
trying to
those.
trying to recover from a rough weekend, I'd imagine.
I feel like I've been on a 3 week drunk and ain't touched a drop in a long time.
I hear you.
It don't
I
even
hear you.
fit. This weekend don't even feel real.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you had a pretty life altering event, I would say. Your son is. I know. You're everyone online saying he's 12. He's actually 11, correct?
He'll be 12 in 2 days.
Okay, cool. So he's almost 12.
Yeah,
So we had a 11-year-old young man, which is your son, and what's his name?
Hunter Grimes.
Hunter. Hunter
Yep.
Grimes. Okay. Now Hunter's been getting into coon hunting pretty big, huh?
Hunter got into coon hunting from before he was big enough to walk. He was running around the house packing my trophies around, telling his mama he was going to have a coon dog like dad someday. Uh,
Sounds like the kind of boy you just dream of, huh?
he's been everything and then some.
Well, I can tell by the smile on your face. That's just the
You
way it
got to
is.
be careful what you say or do around him because you don't know what's going to fall out of his mouth.
I'm sure my dad probably says the same about me.
He's one of these boys that's 11 going on 25 and he thinks he's a grown man and can say what he wants.
Oh, well, you know
So,
what?
so,
Sometimes we all need to stand on our own 2 feet, though, right?
so sometimes it makes me want to crawl under a carpet and pull it back over me.
I hear you there. I hear you there. Well, unfortunately, this is how we have to meet Mr. Grimes. This is not how I wanted to start off things with you. You had a dog this weekend on Friday night, I think, in the Tournament Champions, correct?
Yes, sir.
What was that dog's name?
She was Grand Night Champion Wipeout Katie.
Wipeout Katie.
Wipeout Katie. Her daddy was a dog called Wipeout Slim. Um, they're out of the Wipeout dogs. Just about anybody in the coon hunting world knows about the Wipeout dogs. They're pretty tough to beat. Um, they're die on the wood type tree dogs, and she did just that.
Yeah.
Uh, when she was taken from us, she was on the wood and she was barking every breath and never missed a lick.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I know this is going to be hard for you to talk about. Something I want to go ahead and knock out of the way. I see a ton of questions. Let's just go ahead and knock this out of the ballpark per se, because I'm tired of seeing it as well. Mr. Grimes, did you have full permission to hunt in that competition hunt? Was that a fully legal event? Was that
Absolutely 100%.
okay? So
There was conservation permits for the event. Um, the judges and guides all have permission on the land that the dogs are on. Even furthermore, everybody keeps throwing this around on social media. Well, was she on posted land? She was absolutely not on posted land. She was absolutely on the land that we had every right and every bit of permission to be on.
y'all had a
There's a lot of
permit. Did y'all have a permit for that place?
no, in Missouri you don't have to have the hunting permits. I know there's several states where the landowner writes a little slip, writes a written permission slip. Missouri doesn't have that, which
Okay.
I really wish more people would use that. Then you got jealous neighbors. If there's something in writing, a jealous neighbor can't say a word about you being there.
Right. So in the state of Missouri, you do not have to have that piece of paper.
You do not. No, state of Missouri does not require written permission.
So when you're cutting that dog loose, I would say you're cutting that dog loose in a lot of trust, a lot of people.
Absolutely, you sure.
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of where us as humans, I mean, we are literally depending on what I just said, folks. Trust. We're trusting that when we cut this hound loose, not only is this hound going to do for us, but y'all are going to do for him and take care of him or her that we are hunting up to the utmost respect. And I would assume, Mr. Grimes, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm sure that's how you feel.
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I I couldn't I couldn't imagine shooting somebody's coon dog, especially shoot or even their running dog. Um, around my area, the running dog guys, they have a bad rap, for driving in people's fields and things like that. But I try to pride myself on reassuring any of my landowners anywhere I hunt, you know, that I'm not going to drive my pickup in their fields. That I
Right.
that I do ask them ahead of time, hey, I got a side by side, or hey, I got a four wheeler, or hey, I got a mule. Can I coon hunt off my mule? You know,
Yeah.
coon hunting on mules is a dying thing. There ain't many old boys anymore that'll climb in a saddle on a mule and take off in the dark. You
Well,
know,
and Mr. Grimes, as you said, that's a dying sport, but the sport of raccoon hunting, and if we keep this up, it's dying sport, folks. We
absolutely.
we cannot allow this kind of crap. This was a tournament of champions event. This was not even a small event, folks. This was a nationally known event where I think the top 96, am I right?
Yes, top
That
96.
this
Move
is the
on to Michigan to hunt for the biggest of the big prize the United Kennel Club offers.
you have a man here with an 11-year-old child that has put in countless amount of hours. How many hours would you say you've put into this hound?
Bought Katie about a year and a half, gonna go almost 2 years ago, and other than July and August when it's 100 degrees blazing, we try to hunt many nights a week,
So
and I try to get out as early as possible and hunt as late as possible. Me and my boy, we even go hunting on school nights. His mama gets mad as all get out at me. Quit keeping that boy out so late, but we get out there in the woods and 9 o'clock comes. Well, the 9:30 came. Oh, whoops! It's 10. Oh hell, Hunter! It's 11 o'clock. We better get home. Your mom's gonna wake up and see that we ain't back, and we're both dead.
we're both in trouble.
And
Oh man.
then he misses the bus to go to school in the morning. Dad's got to take him to school. We've had
Well,
that. We've had that on a few occasions.
he scratches your back, you better scratch his. And let me ask you something. You say you had her almost 2 years now. How much joy you reckon that brought Hunter?
Katie was the first dog that boy ever won a UKC event with.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
All right. So this dog is not just a dog.
No, no. She's what started my son competition hunting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you something, folks. I never forget when I was a young man, my dad bought me my first dog. He wasn't a winner. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Mr. Grimes, that dog was so mean. My dad wouldn't hunt his own dogs with him. It was nasty. His old blue tick, just old ball. He wasn't worth a dang for nothing. Would treat more possums than he ever did see a skunk.
well, Hunter has a 2.5 going on 3-year-old blue tick female here,
Does he?
and yeah, I've been a walker man my whole life.
Yeah,
I've had a little bit of everything, but I've been a walker man my whole life. I just pride they're what suit me. Every hound man has what suits him, and my walker dogs are what suit me.
what is
Um,
it? What is it about a Walker Hound that just soothes that soul?
the drive.
Oh,
When I click that brass snap, and you hear that brass snap click, and it sounds like a herd of horses when you're on a cast when four dogs are leaving. There ain't there ain't no better feeling, and I love a good strike dog. People can call it babble, and people can call it what it wants. But when I'm in a competition hunt, I want that 100 plus right off the bat. I want that first 100 on the card.
that's right. That's right.
And I want that one whether that's willing to gamble a little bit and grab that first tree. You get one coon up in a competition hunt, and somebody else takes some circle points or minus points. It's hard for them to come back. Any man that competition hunts will tell you that
Yeah.
that if you got one, you get that first coon on the board, and anybody else stubs their toe, it's all over for them. And that was my Katie girl.
What? That was Katie.
That was my Katie girl.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, now,
She would you'd unclip that snap, and she'd take off. flying 100 mile an hour like a race car, and she might bark 2 or 3 times out of pocket, just babbling, just because she was wound up. But you give her within the first. I can't think of one time. UKC has a minute rule where dogs are allowed to babble or whatever they're doing inside the minute. I can't think of one cast I've ever been in that I've not struck Katie inside the minute, and she's went on the tree.
And then gone wood.
It's all wood every time, and
Yeah.
she had the most beautiful locate. And
Man.
I've posted some videos through some people of her tree, and she was in every single breast tree dog.
A
Um,
wipeout dog.
she's a wipeout dog.
That's
Absolutely.
right. Tree dogs, buddy. Tree dogs. You
Yep.
know, I asked you earlier, and I kind of want to poke back at this. You say you spend hours and hours and hours with your son out there. And how many hours do you think you and your son has put into Katie and all
We,
them nights?
we've put in more hours than her in a week than most people work at a job in a week.
Golly. That's what you folks don't understand. These folks, and I'm not even going to include me in it because I just love to hunt. I'm not going to lie to you, but folks, there's people out there that put more time in their dogs than most athletes will put on in the gym, on a track, on the basketball court, on the football. I don't care. You got people out there treating these dogs like they're Jerry Rice or like they're Joe
And
Montana,
then some.
and
And
then
then
some.
some.
The Michael Jordans. These are the Michael Jordans of our sport. And he was at a national event, and someone as careless and as reckless goes out there. And what happened? How did it all go down?
Uh, like you speak of the wipeout dogs, and you know how they're tree dogs. Well, the
Right.
wipeout dogs are also known for being deep and alone, always by themselves,
Independent.
independent. That's Katie. Katie was 100% independent. I can't think of 2 times in the time that I owned her that another dog treed with her.
Wow.
She wasn't mean. She wasn't aggressive. She she couldn't whip a coon if you shot one out to her. It better not be alive because she wasn't killing
She said, "It
it.
ain't mine.
she,
It's mine
she
up there, but it ain't
yeah.
mine down there."
she, she'd try, but she sure couldn't succeed very good.
And
Uh,
and that's something, Mr. Grimes, most people don't understand. We don't, for y'all that don't raccoon hunt out there and y'all are wanting to understand this story. There's people out there like this man right here that we're not going out there. That we're actually, I would say, Mr. Grimes, are probably more conservationists than almost any type of hunter.
I I I pride myself in not killing my coon in my hunting spots because
Right.
I like to hunt young dogs. You can't go in a spot and kill every dog you tree because what is there going to be next week, next month, next spring when you got this one pup that's treeing every cat in the yard, you know, we go absolutely crazy on a cage coon. You feel like, boom, man, it's time to put this little dude in the woods.
Yeah.
You go to take this pup and start putting in the woods. You done killed all your coons. Then you got a dog that's out running deer, treeing possums. You know, just being
Bored. Bored.
being bored, this doing, oh, chasing anything that'll move.
Yeah.
And then it's harder to break them off of trash than it is to get them to tree coon.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
so
And you,
Katie was one of those dogs. I could hunt her a month and never let her touch a coon. All I had to do was get up to the tree, put my lead on her, say, "Come on, Grandma, let's go." And it
and
was
that's my
she
point. That's my
she
point right there.
lead her 10 yards, 10 steps from that tree, uncut her again, and she was gone, going for the next one.
And you wonder why we call him Michael Jordan. I mean,
Absolutely.
these dogs, y'all do not understand, for you guys that do not know the sport of raccoon hunting. When I say Michael Jordan, I mean it. We put our time and our hours and our love into these dogs. They are not just dogs, they are our best friends. I mean, it bewilders me for what y'all are about to hear right now. And if y'all are a little squeamish, I'm sure Mr. Grimes is going to keep pretty clear, but it makes me upset to the freaking core. To the freaking core. of someone have the audacity to do and disrespect an animal like just happened on Friday night. Mr. Grimes, tell us what happened as you were walking into the tree, please.
Uh, we were where we turned loose at. The dogs went up the ditch. All three of them, they treed different trees. We scored everybody's tree. We recut the dogs. The dogs swung back around, went south, the opposite direction that we turned them to. Um, Three of the other dogs went across the road to the south. They got in there 400, 500, 600 yards, 800 yards. They all got treed. Katie being Katie, she swung left. She headed east, went up over the hill about, I think it was like point or like half a mile or so to the east. So we had to go. The other three guys got struck in and trees, so we had to go down there, score their trees, and then
Now,
as I
in a competition hunt, folks, what he's talking about when we're going to score other dogs, there is 4 dogs in a cast, I would assume, in this cast.
yes, there's
There
four
was
dogs in the cast.
So that's 4 dogs that hunt against each other. There is multiple casts that go out at these events. This was
I
not the
think
only
there was
group.
like 39 casts of four dogs. I think they hunted Friday night. I think they hunted 135 dogs or something in that nature, that close
And
to
then what
that number.
and then what they do is they take that 135 dogs, they try to put them the best they can in 4 or 3 dog cast. A
Yep.
cast is the amount of dogs that are in the event. You have to win your cast and beat those other 3 or those other 2 hounds to move
Move
on.
on.
Correct.
Correct.
And here at the tournament champions, folks, this is to get in this is top 96. Is that correct?
Yeah, top 96 out of both nights. They
That's
take the collective. It's they take 96 dogs out of each zone, um, to go up there to Michigan, and I believe that hunt in Michigan's next week.
and that's the tournament of champions. That's
The
the final.
actual, it's not the zone, it's the full on TOC. Yes,
So we're training Katie to go up there and compete against the best of the best that come from all over the country.
absolutely.
Okay, and that's what I want everyone out here to understand. You're bringing a bunch of dogs from many different areas to one zip code and saying, I got the best dog out of here. And there's 96 dogs, 130 dogs, does not matter. I got the best dog here and I'm going to win. That's what it's all about. And Katie gets in there when he says these 3 dogs went over here and treed to the right, folks, and they're in the west, correct? They're on the west
They
side.
they went south.
South.
They went south of where we was at. So
Katie's
we
going east.
and Ketty was going north. Was northeast of where the other dogs were.
Okay.
When we started walking toward Katie after scoring the other trees, she was like 700 and some yards
So
to
she
the
was
north.
700 to the north of the
Yes,
other dogs that were
of the
south.
other dogs. However,
Okay.
she was like on the north side of a gravel county road. She was treated about 30 feet or about 30 yards off the county road. Um, is where she was treated at, along a little creek ditch. There's a little concrete bridge and a little ditch. Heck, the little ditch wasn't 20 foot wide. Just a little creek running through it.
And when
Um,
he says treed, folks, he means the dog has ran a raccoon up the tree, and that's how we score them. They have to trail that raccoon. They run that raccoon to the tree where it goes up, and that's what we call a treed dog. And then he calls that dog treed, therefore he has to go to that dog. So is it your son with you?
no, my son was actually back at the truck on this one
Thank
because
gosh.
where we were at was knee deep mud, swampy. We just had 4 to 6 inches of rain over there. It was miserable, and I didn't want him wading through all that garbage,
Good for you.
unnecessarily. So I
My
told him, I said, Hunter, I'm gonna go to Katie. You wait here. I'm gonna go with these guys. We'll score their dogs, and we'll go get Katie. Then we'd already decided once we got to Katie, we was gonna call timeout and move to a different spot.
Okay. All right.
Um,
So she's treed. All right. Now after she's treed, you're headed to her. Kind of tell us what happens here.
Okay. We're headed to her after we get the other dogs scored. Um, I was periodically watching my Garmin handheld, um, so that I could keep tabs on her, make sure she hadn't moved or anything like that. Well, shoot, like I say, when she's a die on the wood type dog, when she's treed, there ain't nothing moving her. You're not calling her off the tree. You're another dog going by her. Nothing going on around her is going to change what she's doing. She's hyper focused and she's not going to move. Period.
Katie,
So I'm watching
Katie
my
bar the door, as you'd say.
absolutely. Whenever we were walking to her, I kept watching my Garmin, and for some reason I looked down on my Garmin and it was 557 yards. I'm thinking, man, my fat butt's about to die here. I'm sucking air. I'm sucking on a water bottle because
Yeah, you
I
get
done
warmed up.
woo. It was rough. I done walked like 800 one way tour. Now I've got to go back. Another seven, $800, 800 yards to my dog.
Through the
I,
water, through the muck. I mean, you're really in this stuff, huh?
we were knee deep. We were
Oh,
knee deep. Yeah, it was bad.
I'm here in Florida, brother. I'm feeling you. So keep on going. Tell me, tell me what's
Well,
going on.
at 557 yards, I just looked at my Garmin. And I went to put it back in my vest pouch, and I looked down at my pouch to put my handheld in my pouch, and I heard the first gunshot.
A gunshot.
I heard the first gunshot,
Okay.
and then it was simultaneously after the first. There was the second gunshot, and
Oh,
I don't. I'm not going to say on here what I said, because there might be kids watching, but I lost it. And then I took off in a dead sprint, and so did the rest of the cast.
oh man.
Um, as I'm running as hard as I can, I'm fumbling in my vest pouch to get my cell phone out to call my son because he's back at the road in the pickup with another guy to tell them go over the hill and try to see if you see somebody, see where them shots come from. Because the second the shots rang out, my dog went silent. And
Oh no.
when she went silent, um, I don't know, I might have run 150, 200 yards before I looked at my Garmin again. So there was a minute or so in there. And I looked down at my Garmin again, and where she was treed, on the Garmin, it'll show the dog treed. It'll show a little picture of a little dog on the side of a tree.
And that a Garmin's our handheld unit, folks. We keep this with us to track our hounds. We can see live as our dogs go with an update of every 2 seconds. That collar reaches that handheld. We have instant
Hang on just a
notification.
second. I've got a collar right here behind me. Everybody keeps asking about what these collars are. I've got a collar right here. I'll show everybody.
Thank you.
These are a Garmin tracking collar. This green wire here, this is the antenna. There's the antenna, the satellite box that's here on the side of the collar. Um, this right here on the bottom, this is the battery pack. Then it has your electronic shock for training on it, um, which you cannot use any kind of shock during a competition hunt. They make the collars that we use for the competition hunt do not have any kind of electric stimulation on them.
And
This
those
collar,
those are also called T5 and
T,
T20 collars.
yes, T5 and T20 collars, absolutely.
And on this
Um,
particular night, which color were you running?
I use the T5s. Is what I've got.
T5s. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so right
Um,
there, folks, if you'll hold it up just a little bit right there, if you see those two little prongs, a T5 and a T20 collar that we were talking about has no shocking platform built into it. It is a
you.
collar that has the GPS puck with the battery.
That's it. That
Yeah.
is all.
And they
But
update to our unit every two and a half seconds.
yes.
Exactly.
Um,
What kind of range can you get with that?
Uh, it just depends the terrain where you're at. If I'm in the river bottoms, seems like I've never had in the river bottoms. Like we hunt along the Missouri River up here in my area. We've got several small rivers we hunt around up here. River bottoms, you can get some pretty good distance, miles. I've in Missouri river bottoms, people that are familiar with Missouri River, Mississippi River, they say they have a 9 mile range on them. I've never, I don't run coyote dogs, so I wouldn't need one that goes that far. But like I know a lot of the coyote hunters, they don't have any trouble with them in the river bottoms.
On this particular night, how far do you think you could have reached her?
Uh,
Or do you think it even would have ever dropped out?
well, at one point I looked at my Garmin as I was walking, and she was 0.57 of a mile or 0.55 of a mile, so that was a half a mile away.
So you're a half
So
mile away at one point.
yeah, yeah,
Wow. Okay. All right. So I just we got this clarified for everybody. It's good that you had the colors right there. Great to show it off because y'all need to see that. On this particular night, she has what's called a T5 she had a T5 color on.
yes.
That is
Hold on,
not, yeah, he's
I
got,
want to show everybody our handhelds too.
yes, please.
I still haven't even unpacked my hunting bag. I just brought it in and threw it on the floor. These are the Garmin Alpha 200s. This is the 200 plus. Basically, it's the exact same thing as the 300 or 300i. It's the 200 with the 300 program and guts in it. I use when I'm competition hunting and I'm away from home. I use the extended range antenna. This antenna extends out a long ways. It just helps, to get way better signal reception. When I'm not around home, I get a little spooked about losing my dog or whatever. But
Yes.
I will turn this on, and I have not deleted the track or anything from that night. It might even be dead. I may not have turned it off. Oh no, it's powering up. I've not deleted her track at all from that night, so I can show everybody still her track is still on my screen.
And by track, folks, we're literally talking about her track, exactly where she went up
Yep.
until this happened. So you hear the shots. You're closing in. What's going through your mind?
Uh, I, at that moment, I didn't even know what to think. I was blown away by it. Well, actually, it's really what. Now that I'm looking at it, it actually has my track. It all the way from my house over to the hunt in Kirksville. So I can, if you want me to, I took pictures of my Garmin screen with my phone. I did that for law enforcement. Um,
If you
but
want, you can send those over to me and I'll post them in the video here while we're talking about it.
I would hold on. I was able to zoom in and I found it. Oh wow. Okay. It's still there. Her track is still there.
Wow. So we're going to show you exactly where Katie ran into an issue, folks. Y'all hang in there.
Okay, I'm getting it zoomed in because it was zoomed out a long ways. It's 2.5 hours from my house over there. Okay, I don't know how well people can see it,
Oh, yeah.
but you can see this area right here. There's a lot of track, a lot of blue. That's where this blue line, that is her moving, moving around the timber, being treed. She went out here, she went down and around, come back. She got on the gravel road. If you can look and see a little bit, she was on the gravel road. She went about a quarter mile up the gravel and went back in the timber. That is where, that's where he killed her at. Um,
So the shots were him killing her.
the two shots were him killing her. After whoever the man is that killed her, um, they took the Garmin collar off of her. They took my personal dog collar off of her. that has my nameplate on it. Um, you look there, you can see the light blue marks on the screen. Those were my marks. From all that is everywhere that I walked around where she was shot. I walked all around that area looking for shell casings, looking for anything that I could find, looking for my Garmin collar, for my personal collar, trying to see if maybe they took the collar off of her and threw it in the ditch. Um, Whoever killed my dog was purposely trying to hide the fact that they killed my dog and they didn't want me to find her body. It's basically what that boils down to. There would be no other reason why you would want to kill a dog and take the collar off of it and take the tracking collar off of it for no reason.
And that's also a law, folks.
Yeah, there's a law in the state of Missouri about taking a collar off of a dog, tracking device off of a dog. We do have a law for it.
Same here in
However,
Florida.
it's only a Class A misdemeanor in Missouri.
Yeah.
Which I don't get, because we have what they call Max's law in Missouri, um, regarding canines, police canines. If you shoot a canine in the state of Missouri that is a police dog, it is a Class A felony and it is a murder charge.
Should be here too.
To be a murder charge for a person for killing a police dog. How is that any different? How is my hound that has a job? How is she any different than a police dog that has a job?
She's
But
not.
there's a big divide between their dogs and our dogs. It's a Class A misdemeanor, punishable up to a year in jail and a $2,000 fine in Missouri. That's it.
Wow.
Absolutely. I need everybody that can stand behind me to go to the Capitol, and this needs to be heard. This needs to be fixed. Um, the game warden that I contacted, actually, everybody was trying to contact the game warden, the county game warden. It took the sheriff's department of Adair County. It took them almost an hour to show up out there.
Oh my God.
Took them almost an hour.
So
Then instead of that officer saying, "Hey, I need to go, well, look at the area, look for shell casings, look at whatever." This man looks me in my face and says, "Did you take any pictures of your dog? Why are
yeah.
you asking me if I took pictures? That's your job."
Man. In in the time before law enforcement, you arrived, you saw Katie. Where was she
Okay.
wounded?
When we was walking into when we were walking down the gravel road from where we come out of the property to the south, the judge and the guy, the man that was judging the guide, his name is Jack Bingham. He is from up in Iowa. Very good man. Very, very good man. He's reached out to me on numerous occasions since this incident. Um,
Appreciate that, brother.
I was I was pretty shook. You know, I was pretty shook when this happened.
Yeah.
I knew my dog was dead. I know my dog, and when you hear two gunshots and that dog don't say another word,
You know.
there's a problem. I knew right then. Jack took my Garmin handheld and walked into the tree. Where my collar was taken off of her, when my collar was taken off of her, they powered the collar off. Physically pushed the button on the inside of the collar, and everybody, to power this collar on and off, the button is right here on the inside of the collar. That power doesn't. There's no way to turn that power off unless the battery dies, or you physically push that little button down and hold it until it beeps and it shuts itself off.
Yeah, that's
Whoever
not
killed
and
my,
it's not a press button. It's not a press button. It's a hold.
it's a hold button. Yes, it is a hold button,
Right.
and it's hard to hold even.
Right.
So they're not easy to turn off and turn on. Sometimes you got to really push on them to get them to turn off and turn on.
Right.
Um,
Right.
the collar was turned off. That's how that. With the second that the question mark popped up at her where her tree was, it show where it shows her treed, a question mark came up on there, and that means that it's lost communication. That the handheld device has lost communication with the collar, which
Uh,
means one, they're in a hole in the ground or something, which that happens.
So the judge and the guide, they go in, they try to check on Katie
Yeah,
and see how
the
she
judge and
is.
guide is it was one person. That was Jack Bingham from up in Central Iowa.
Okay, Mr.
Um,
Bingham goes in and he goes after Katie.
he goes in with my handheld, walks up to the tree, and he hollers back out to the road because she's only about 30 yards off the road. Um, and to make this scenario and situation more clear of what happened, um, there was a grove of cedar trees between the road and where she was at. So from the base of the tree almost all the way up to the treetop, where the top started in these cottonwood trees, you couldn't see them from the road. I don't care what angle, from 150 to 300 yards, you could not look down in that holler and see her at that tree. It was not possible. Uh, Whoever killed her walked up to her. She was shot through her side. She was shot through the ribs, and she was shot in her back leg. Um, Me and my wife took her yesterday to our local vet that we use, and they did X-rays on her to see if there was a bullet in her that we could get um, ballistics off of, to kind of see if we could get a bullet to match to a gun or something. When they did the X-ray, whatever there was, had to have been a small caliber handgun, because the shots were too close together to be a bolt action or something like that. So it had to have been a small caliber handgun. We also searched, we searched really hard around the area, a pretty wide perimeter, pretty wide swath, looking for shell casings, looking for the collars, looking for any kind of, boot prints, shoe tracks, anything um, that we could find that might give any kind of lead, any kind of clue which direction it came from or whatever. Um,
So this person was just going in there to eliminate this hound.
Absolutely. They went in there with the intentions of killing her. They also took the collars off of her with the intentions of us not being able to find her. Well,
What a coward.
whatever, whoever that idiot might have been, they weren't smart enough to know that when they turned the power off on that collar, the last place that collar was showed me exactly where she was at. Um, Once Jack found her, that's when he hollered, "Hey, I found her. She's right here." And I asked him then, I said, "Is she gone?" And he said, "Yes. If you want to see her, come on." That's when me and my son walked in there, and
Oh no, you and your son.
me and my son both walked in there. I don't even have the words to express the pain and hurt that I felt for him, seeing the pain and hurt in his eyes.
Hmm.
Um, it's no feeling I've ever imagined in my whole entire life. Um, you know, I lost my mother when I was 12 years old. I I don't even think the pain of losing my mother was anything like seeing my son hurt like he was.
Hmm.
Every emotion that a man could have flew through my body in about 3 seconds. Um, and it's been a whirlwind of emotion in my head and in my heart since it happened. You
I
know,
can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can imagine you being horribly sad. I can imagine you being a hurt father, and then I can only imagine the loss of basically your child.
uh, they're my wife and my son are the only reason I'm sitting here at this table talking to you right now. Period. There's no doubt about it. Um, you know, I'll take whatever lumps come to me, but I it's been everything I could do to keep from driving back over there and going up quarter mile up that hill from where she was shot to that house with all them old junk campers that people are living in sitting around it and start going door to door and whatever means to find the answers I'm looking for. Because there's only one place that's even remotely close that a person could have come from that my son and the guy that was sitting on the gravel road would not have seen. There was
Any
no,
were what any vehicles? Anybody?
no,
Anybody?
none, zero.
Mm.
Somebody walked down that hill, shot my dog, and as we were walking to her, snuck back up the road in the brush. It was good, thick, dense northern Missouri timber. Snuck back up to their residence. I I'm not the type of person that lays blame on anybody, but I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, whoever killed my dog lives in that residence. Whether it's in one of the campers that are out there or somebody that's living in that house, somebody in at that residence knows who killed my dog.
Don't shoot my dog, man.
It,
Yeah, don't shoot
I
my dog.
it,
You got a problem with me? Take it out on me.
shoot me, but you better damn sure kill me. That's all I got to say. You better make sure I'm dead because if I got an ounce of breath left in me and any fight left, you're going with me. Uh, the amount of outpour of support that I have gotten from around the country, literally from coast to coast, all the way from California to Maine, from Texas to North Dakota. It's insane how busy I have been since that moment my dog was shot. I had people on the way home when I was on my way home from Kirksville, Missouri, which is 2.5 hours that night, messaging me at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Are you okay, buddy? Are you okay? Is Hunter okay? I'm like, I told her, I said, don't worry about me. Worry about Hunter. Because on our way home, because me and my son together picked her up and we drove our van over because of the price of gas and stuff. Um, I didn't want to drive my diesel pickup at almost $5 a gallon, and I've got a gas pickup, a 3/4 ton Chevy gas pickup that gets 9 miles to the gallon, so that wasn't a good option either. So it was either drive Dad's work truck and pay out the nose, drive Dad's play truck, play out the nose, or we'll just take the old the what we call the Yoder toter of my van that I haul my Amish around in. So so we took the Yoder toter to go coon hunting.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but we put her in the back of the van and we drove home. And I'll be honest with you, I parked in the driveway and I told my son he wanted to forget that it happened. I said, well, we just when we go home, we'll just go to bed and we'll get up early in the morning. We'll take her to the vet, and because I wanted to bring her home and bury her, and Hunter said, Dad, I don't want her buried. He said, I want to have her cremated so I can take her a little bit of her ashes to our favorite coon hunting spot and spread some of her ashes.
Mm.
Um, that hurt. That hurt hard. But the one thing that hurt the most on the way home, like I said, he's got that blue tick. Hate that dog with a passion. God, I hate that dog. But he has fought me since he got her to keep that dog. He looked at me and he said, Dad, when we get home, I want you to sell Dottie. I don't want to ever go through this hurt again. I want to sell my other dog. And I'll be honest with you, I want to pull over alongside of the road and cry my eyes out
Everything gone.
instantly. Everything I worked to build in that boy, he was ready to throw it all away.
Suck the air out of a kid, man.
Yep.
What in the world?
You know, I I'll be honest with you. Old Grandma Katie was 9 years old. I went to the PKC World Hunt over in Illinois here a couple weeks ago, and they had it the day before it started. I met fella down there that I bought a 6-week-old puppy from. This puppy was bred identical to Katie. This puppy's mama, her daddy was a son out of my grandma Katie dog, out of her daddy. So I still got some of my blood, but I was preparing myself to lose her of old age before long. She was 9 years old. I've been telling everybody, I said, yeah, we're going to go to TOC. Whatever we do at TOC, that's it. Grandma Katie can retire on the couch. Um,
Let her retire her way, huh?
Absolutely.
That's right. She earned
My,
it.
my wife has posted a video on her Facebook.
What are you doing, Katie?
I promise you didn't get her pen door closed. She was gone. She was going hunting. My wife posted a video of her. She escaped out of the pen here a week and a half ago. We live out in the middle of nowhere in a little bitty unincorporated town. 7 houses are the town that I live in.
Busy.
Yeah, busy. Yeah. Well, the crazy part about it is the 7 houses, I own 3 of them. They're all on my piece of ground.
Very quiet place.
Yeah. Well, Grandma Katie decided she was going to get out of her pen and go over to the neighbors. And there's a big hollow tree over there that the top is broke off of, so it's just a tree trunk that's hollow. And she decides she's going to go over and tree an old sow coon that's trying to raise a litter of babies in that tree trunk. I had no clue she was there. No clue. This tree trunk ain't 150 yards from my house where my dogs are at. And this old sow coon's got a litter of babies in there.
All right. So the judge and the guide, they go in, they try to check on Katie.
Yeah, the judge and guide it was one person. That was Jack Bingham from up in central Iowa.
Okay, Mr. Bingham goes in and he goes after Katie.
He goes in with my handheld, walks up to the tree, and he hollers back out to the road because she's only about 30 yards off the road. And to make this scenario and situation more clear of what happened, there was a grove of cedar trees between the road and where she was at. So from the base of the tree almost all the way up to the treetop, where the top started in these cottonwood trees, you couldn't see them from the road. I don't care what angle, from 150 to 300 yards, you could not look down in that holler and see her at that tree. It was not possible. Whoever killed her walked up to her. She was shot through her side. She was shot through the ribs, and she was shot in her back leg. Me and my wife took her yesterday to our local vet that we use, and they did x-rays on her to see if there was a bullet in her that we could get ballistics off of, to kind of see if we could get a bullet to match to a gun or something. When they did the x-ray, whatever, had to have been a small caliber handgun, because the shots were too close together to be a bolt action or something like that. So it had to have been a small caliber handgun. We also searched really hard around the area, a pretty wide perimeter, pretty wide swath, looking for shell casings, looking for the collars, looking for any kind of, boot prints, shoe tracks, anything that we could find that might give any kind of lead, any kind of clue which direction it came from or whatever.
So this person was just going in there to eliminate this hound.
Absolutely. They went in there with the intentions of killing her. They also took the collars off of her with the intentions of us not being able to find her. Well,
what a coward.
Whatever, whoever that idiot might have been, they weren't smart enough to know that when they turned the power off on that collar, the last place that collar was showed me exactly where she was at. Um, Once Jack found her, that's when he hollered, "Hey, I found her. She's right here." And I asked him then, I said, "Is she gone?" And he said, "Yes. If you want to see her, come on." That's when me and my son walked in there, and
Oh no, you and your son.
me and my son both walked in there. I don't even have the words to express the pain and hurt that I felt for him, seeing the pain and hurt in his eyes.
Mm,
Um, it's no feeling I've ever imagined in my whole entire life. Um, you know, I lost my mother when I was 12 years old. I I don't even think the pain of losing my mother was anything like seeing my son hurt like he was.
mm.
Every emotion that a man could have flew through my body in about 3 seconds. Um, and it's been a whirlwind of emotion in my head and in my heart since it happened. You
I
know,
can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can imagine you being horribly sad. I can imagine you being a hurt father, and then I can only imagine the loss of basically your child.
uh, they're my wife and my son are the only reason I'm sitting here at this table talking to you right now. Period. There's no doubt about it. Um, you know, I'll take whatever lumps come to me, but I it's been everything I could do to keep from driving back over there and going up quarter mile up that hill from where she was shot to that house with all them old junk campers that people are living in sitting around it, and start going door to door in whatever means to find the answers I'm looking for. Because there's only one place that's even remotely close that a person could have come from that my son and the guy that was sitting on the gravel road would not have seen. There was
Any
no,
were what any vehicles? Anybody?
no,
Anybody?
none, none, zero.
Mm.
Somebody walked down that hill, shot my dog, and as we were walking to her, snuck back up the road in the brush. It was good, thick, dense northern Missouri timber. Snuck back up to their residence. I'm not the type of person that lays blame on anybody, but I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, whoever killed my dog lives in that residence. Whether it's in one of the campers that are out there or somebody that's living in that house, somebody in at that residence knows who killed my dog.
Don't shoot my dog, man.
It,
Yeah,
I,
don't shoot
I,
my
it,
dog. You got a problem with me? Take it out on me.
shoot me, but you better damn sure kill me. That's all I got to say. You better make sure I'm dead, because if I got an ounce of breath left in me and any fight left, you're going with me. Uh, the amount of outpour of support that I have gotten from around the country, literally from coast to coast, all the way from California to Maine, from Texas to North Dakota. It's insane how busy I have been since that moment my dog was shot. I had people on the way home when I was on my way home from Kirksville, Missouri, which is 2.5 hours that night, messaging me at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Are you okay, buddy? Are you okay? Is Hunter okay? I'm like, I told everybody, I said, don't worry about me. Worry about Hunter. Because on our way home, because me and my son together picked her up, and we drove our van over because of the price of gas and stuff. Um, I didn't want to drive my diesel pickup at almost $5 a gallon, and I've got a gas pickup, a 3/4 ton Chevy gas pickup that gets 9 miles to the gallon. so that wasn't a good option either. So it was either drive Dad's work truck and pay out the nose, drive Dad's play truck, play out the nose, or we'll just take the old the what we call the Yoder toter, my van that I haul my Amish around in. So so we took the Yoder toter to go coon hunting.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
but you know, we put her in the back of the van and we drove home. And I'll be honest with you, I parked in the driveway and I told my son he wanted to forget that it happened. I said, well, we just when we go home, we'll just go to bed and we'll get up early in the morning. We'll take her to the vet, and because I wanted to bring her home and bury her. And Hunter said, Dad, I don't want her buried. He said, I want to have her cremated so I can take her a little bit of her ashes to our favorite coon hunting spot and spread some of her ashes.
Mm.
That hurt. That hurt hard. But the one thing that hurt the most on the way home, you know, like I said, he's got that blue tick. Hate that dog with a passion. God, I hate that dog. But he has fought me since he got her to keep that dog. He looked at me and he said, Dad, when we get home, I want you to sell Dottie. I don't want to ever go through this hurt again. I want to sell my other dog. And I'll be honest with you, I want to pull over alongside of the road and cry my eyes out
Everything gone.
instantly. Everything I worked to building that boy, he was ready to throw it all away.
Suck the air out of a kid, man.
Yep.
What in the world?
You know, I'll be honest with you. Old Grandma Katie was 9 years old. I went to the PKC World Hunt over in Illinois here a couple weeks ago when they had it the day before it started. I met a fella down there that I bought a 6-week-old puppy from. This puppy was bred identical to Katie. This puppy's mama, her daddy was a son out of my grandma Katie dog, out of her daddy. So I still got some of my blood, but you know, I was preparing myself to lose her of old age before long. You know, she was 9 years old. I've been telling everybody, I said, yeah, we're going to go to TOC. Whatever we do at TOC, that's it. Grandma Katie can retire on the couch. You
Let
know,
her retire her way, huh?
absolutely.
That's right. She earned it.
My wife has posted a video on her Facebook. Katie's kind of she was for a 9-year-old dog, she was a wild child. Um, I promise you didn't get her pen door closed. She was gone. She was going hunting. My wife posted a video of her. She escaped out of the pen here a week and a half ago. We live out in the middle of nowhere in a little bitty unincorporated town. 7 houses are the town that I live in.
Busy.
Yeah, busy. Yeah. Well, the crazy part about it is the 7 houses, I own 3 of them. They're all on my piece of ground.
Very quiet place.
Yeah. Well, Grandma Katie decided she was going to get out of her pen and go over to the neighbors. And there's a big hollow tree over there that the top is broke off of, so it's just a tree trunk that's hollow. And she decided she's going to go over and tree an old sow coon that's trying to raise a litter of babies in that tree trunk. I had no clue she was there. No clue. This tree trunk ain't 150 yards from my house where my dogs are at. And this old sow coon's got a litter of babies in there. You know, so if you want to look at my wife's Facebook, her name is Cherie Grimes. She's got that video posted on there of Katie giving this old mama coon the business.
I might
And
have to go over there and grab it and put it on this video.
oh, grandma's something else. She didn't care. About
Man.
3 weeks before that, I come home and I'd been on one of my Amish excursions. So, like I said, I haul the Amish for a living. It sure beats a 9 to 5. That's all I can say. It sure beats a 9 to 5. There's a lot of rumors and accusations made about those people, but I'll tell you what, they give you the shirt off their back and they'll take care of you.
That's
They
right.
might complain about it every second of it, but they'll take care of you. But I came home from one of my Amish trips, and I come in the house, and I'm like, wow, I just heard a dog. And everywhere right here around me, I'm the one that's got permission to hunt. Nobody else should be hunting in any of these spots close to my house. Uh, all the old landowners, it's bad to say this, but the coyote hunters around here kind of ruined it for themselves, driving in people's fields when it's muddy and things like that. So
No
I'm pretty
etiquette.
well
No etiquette.
no etiquette, no regard for anybody else's stuff. Like I said, all the farmers around here know I got a mule that I ride. I got side by side, got four wheelers. I do not drive my pickups and then on any of their places. I park in their gates and that's it.
Not
But I
not a
heard,
not a donkey kind of mule, folks, either. This man rides a mule. I'm telling you, a mule.
yeah, not no little burro. No, she's a 14 three-hand Molly mule.
That's
She's
what I'm
horse
talking
sized mule.
about. That's
Uh,
what I like.
uh, but I went back outside for something else and I heard it again and I thought I stopped dead. I'm walking to my pickup and I just stopped dead in my tracks. And my heart sunk. I'm like, oh my God, that's Katie. So I took off in a dead sprint, a whole 50 feet to her pen. Uh, Go and look in her doghouse. Well, mind you, I've got the metal pro built dog houses. They're really, that's what the Hound guys use. We
Yeah.
use pro builts. Grandma wouldn't sleep in a pro built. Grandma would rather sleep on top of a pro built. Grandma has a $99 dog glue from Walmart that she can curl up in and nobody knows she's in there.
Her little hotel.
That was the only doghouse she's sleeping in is a friggin' stupid dog glue. I go look in Grandma's pen and dog she ain't in there. She's done pen doors wide open. She done decided she was going on vacation. And me and my son get in the side by side and we drove down the blacktop because I could tell she was straight south of my house, which I'm 300 yards off of a blacktop that parallels my town here. And there's a ditch to the south of me. And kid went down there about 600 yards south of town and was treating an old friggin' hackberry tree. Had a great big boar coon up there.
Katie
Tree
doing
never
Katie
breath.
things, huh?
Katie doing Katie things. The pictures that I've posted all over social media. If you notice, she's in the back seat of a side by side. That picture was taken the night she decided she was going to escape and go tree her coon. I didn't have a dog box in there. I didn't have a dog lid. I didn't have nothing. So Katie rode home in the back seat of a brand new side by side. Mud all mud all over, blood on her tail where she'd been treeing so long she beat the blood out of her tail. Sitting in the back seat of a brand new Kawasaki Ridge side by side. $25,000 worth of dog blooded mud all over it.
And you see this, folks? You tell me you gonna take that same dog and throw it in your back seat? No.
Katie rode to the Tournament of Champions in the back of my van with no dog box.
I'll
Sitting,
be darned.
sitting between the seat, harassing my son, trying to steal his French fries.
And that's what I hope a lot of people understand is you and your son love these hounds. You really love them. And I can tell you do. And these hounds, they're not just a dog that we hunt, folks. These hounds are dogs that we invest time in, love in, care in, grooming, food, everything we want. This is a champion we're trying to build here. And then
I did a interview this morning with the man that does the Army of Orange podcast and social media stuff. Something I said to him, and I'd like to express this to everybody. These dogs that we competition hunt cost more money probably than than people's brand new vehicles that they're driving. These dogs cost more money than a lot of people in this world put down for a down payment on a house.
mhm,
We have everything of our lives invested in these dogs.
everything.
Everything. These my dogs eat before I do.
Mm.
It's that simple. Um, in the summertime, my dogs get ice in their buckets. You know, my dogs, uh, I've got a revolving account at my vet. If one of my hounds get a sniffle, Doc Francis in Maryville, Missouri sees us instantly. And it don't matter what the bill is. I go. Uh, this little little puppy I bought when I got her home, I noticed she was, she wasn't running around quite right for a 6 week old puppy, and I took her straight to the vet, and the doctor determined she was anemic because she was probably a little wormy, which that happens a lot when you know, especially down south for you guys where it's so warm all the time. It's hard to keep your dogs cleaned out of the parasites and stuff.
Absolutely.
If a female gets bred and she's got parasites, she passes them to her puppies.
Mm-hmm.
Not even knowing. Well, this puppy I got her before she was old enough to have her first round of worming. So, um, especially with the stuff that we use anyway,
Yeah.
they recommend 6 weeks before you give it to them. So she went straight to the vet. There wasn't no question about it. And I'll tell you right now, if Katie would have had an ounce of breath in her when I picked her up and put her in my van, don't think for 1 minute that 2.5 hour drive wouldn't have took me an hour and a half, because I would have been at my vet's door at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever, to try to save her, regardless of the cost, regardless of the hour of the night. It didn't matter. There wasn't nothing that would stop me trying to save her.
What makes that kind of love, man?
The love for the sport. You know, I would give up anything in my life if I told that only thing I could ever do the rest of my life is coon hunt, or no more horses, no more mules, no more raising, other farm animals, nothing. If I was told I couldn't have nothing else, I had to pick one, it'd be a hands down no brainer. It'd be my dogs.
Yeah.
Because a guy can have the worst day in the world, come home mad at the world, load up your dogs, you take a young dog that's just starting good, and that
Preach
young
it, brother.
dog, that young dog goes and he does exactly what he's supposed to do, and he trees that coon, especially when they're pups, from
When they
six
get
months
yonder,
to,
get treed, huh?
hey, whenever they're between 6 and 12 months old, you got one of them pups that fly in there that's radical and crazy, that don't know if it's going to run a deer, tree, a coon, or catch a possum on the ground and try to sneak off with it without you finding out. You know, you've never had no feeling when you see that young dog slide under its first coon,
And
and
you
it's
hear
treeing
that.
every breath.
Yeah, that's right. And you hear that dying locate like some of them have. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, there's no other feeling.
No,
There's no other. I'd give up anything else in the world if I could. If I had to give up my coon hunting, I wouldn't do it.
the hound's masterpiece, isn't it?
Absolutely. I come from a complete pedigree of my own of coon hunters. Both my grandfathers were coon hunters. My dad was a coon hunter. Um, my great grandfather on my dad's side was a houndsman of all sorts. He had coyote dogs, he had bird dogs, he had coon dogs. Back then, they had beagles. I mean, my grandpa and great grandpa, and that was back in the day where it didn't matter if it had papers on it. It didn't matter if it was a purebred. If it was a hound and it would do something, they had it. Pure and simple. They had it. The first coon dog I ever remember growing up as a kid, wasn't even a hound. He was a half Australian Shepherd and half Border Collie, and that was the coon treeingest dude you ever seen in your life.
He get him up, huh?
He didn't say a word on the ground, but he'd tree every coon in the timber, and he didn't miss one. I remember whenever I was a kid, um, my grandpa used to let us tell us boys, our older cousins would come over and want to take his name was Cody. He was their house dog, and he was their farm stock dog. You boys can take him with you, but don't let him get chewed on. And that boy, that was me and my younger brothers. That was our job. We had to make sure that whenever Cody was treed and the coon was shot out, we had to hold him back. Mind you, this is a 75-pound stock dog, and we were, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids trying to hold this dude back.
He
I
ready
don't
to
know
eat
how,
and get that coon, wasn't
I don't know how many times I got drugged through the timber on my face.
he? And this is
But
what I mean, folks. This is what I mean. I mean, the smile on his face, talking about them good memories, and we're out there enjoying a sport, not only to win because we are competitors.
absolutely. And
And
a
our and
UKC hunt, a PKC hunt, a pro sport hunt, it don't matter what it is. We all four could be best friends right now at this table, sitting here having a cold one, smoking a cigarette, whatever. But I'll tell you what, for 60 minutes, for 90 minutes, or for 2 hours, we're mortal enemies. And
that's right.
it's every man for itself. It's cutthroat. It's
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 gambling, baby.
it's gambling. And I'll tell you what, I've said this several times in the last 48 hours. It's crazy how we can hate each other with a passion for 90 minutes or 60 minutes or 2 hours. But when something like this comes together, all that bull crap aside, it's gone. It's not even thought about.
That's right.
It,
Shows there's a little humanity out there, doesn't
sometimes it's amazing if there is. It feels like there's not. I've got several people on my side that is literally from that area, within just a couple miles of that area. People I don't even know that are neighbors to where this happened at. Um, the individual that we believe did it, everybody's scared of.
it? Oh.
Nobody. Yes, he's one of those type of guys.
Mm.
He's an unsavory soul. Um, a very, very brave person uh, brought me a name tonight of who this guy is. They don't know that he did it, but we finally got a name to go with the situation. Um, there's been other instances where guys that are coyote hunters. The coyote club over there is really big. Um, and there's been several other guys around there, from that coyote club and stuff that have said, hey, the property of where we think the guy is staying that killed your dog, we've always been able to hunt there. The old man that owns it, we used to go get him and take him coyote hunting with us. And then this guy moved in out there in this camper, and now it's off limits. Nobody can go there. This guy's done had run-ins with some other coyote hunters out there, threatening them, so on and so forth. Um,
But y'all had written permission.
well, not written permission, just verbal permission. You don't have to
Verbal.
do that. Verbal permission is all you
Yeah.
have to have in the state of Missouri.
But you still had permission.
The land that Katie was killed on has nothing to do with those people. She was across the road on a different landowner that we have permission on.
That you do
That,
have permission
that
on.
we do 100% in fact have permission on. There's
Okay.
no question. She
Good.
was where she was supposed to be.
Good.
At no point does her Garmin track show she ever crossed completely on the road onto them people's property.
Exactly.
However, the old
Exactly.
man,
Where
huh?
where exactly did this happen? Like exact town, place, etc.
I can tell you the address of where it happened at. I don't know what the actual town is. It's about 12 miles east of Kirksville, Missouri. Um, and if you want to look it up, if people want to look it up, it's the name of the road is Oak Grove Way.
She was
Uh,
killed on the Oak Grove Way.
she was killed on Oak Grove Way. The closest residence to her her place where she was killed is a quarter mile, the quarter to a third of a mile, somewhere in there, up the hill to the west. This farm sits on top of a ridge. If you look it up, it's on the south side of the gravel road. It's Basically, the best way I could describe it, it looks like a junkyard.
Mm.
Um, Old falling down house, the roof falling off of it, doors falling in, no half the windows boarded up, and some camper trailers sitting around it that people are living in. Uh, the name I was given, I actually have a very, very, very close friend, and it didn't dawn on me until the day that actually works for the Adair County Sheriff's Department. And when she caught wind of the story, she absolutely went ballistic about it because the sheriff's department has not been any help.
Mm.
The local conservation agent, and I might get pushback on this, and I might get in trouble for even saying this, but I was given the local conservation agent of Adair County's phone number, not knowing that it was his personal phone number. When I got it, I called it at 11:30 Friday night, and I was told in no uncertain circumstances had I better ever call his phone ever again for any reason, and I better lose his goddamn number, quote unquote.
Whoa.
That man never called me back like he said he was going to. His supervisor did, but he didn't call me back. So, but I do still have his personal number, and if nothing happens, I'll make it public. I will post it to the public.
Okay. Keep us updated on that.
Okay, well, I mean, if I don't get a public apology from that man, I'm going to post his phone number to the entire world, so everybody, people can give him text message or phone call, see how he feels about that,
Yeah.
because I had him on speakerphone whenever I called that man, and I was in the clubhouse over there at Kirksville when I called him because the lady, I don't even know the lady's name that gave me his phone number, but the lady that gave me his phone number, she couldn't believe how he talked to me. It
Yeah.
was just mind blowing.
A few people heard it.
Oh yeah, a few people heard it. They were all like, "Are you serious? Was that really Kevin?" His first name is Kevin. I can't remember what his last name is, but he's the Adair County game warden. Um, so yeah, that was him. That was his personal phone, apparently.
Mm.
My bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So where are we at this stage? I mean, what are we doing?
um, Tomorrow morning, I'm getting up 7 o'clock, and I'm going to the Adair County Sheriff's Department. I'm gonna go ruffle some feathers, see if I can tip over some chairs, and I'm going to the prosecuting attorney's office. And then it's against my better judgment. I'm gonna drive out to where this happened at, and I'm gonna go walk that timber. I'm gonna get a few guys together from over there. And we're gonna go walk that timber and see if maybe her collar, after they took it off of her and turned it off, if maybe they threw it somewhere.
Yeah.
And if hopefully, if they did, we can get some fingerprints off of it.
Right.
So, because I'll promise you, if somebody, whoever took that collar off of her, you got to grab. You're a houndsman yourself, so when those buckles are buckled on them, you got to put some force on them to get them unbuckled.
That's right. Yeah.
There's going to be some fingerprints on that collar if it's found.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm praying they didn't throw it in the creek in the water. Hopefully, it's laying on the ground somewhere. If we do find it, so that we can get some evidence off of it. So
That's right. All right. Well, keep us updated on that as well. I mean, everything you tell me after this, I'll try to keep everyone here updated as well. Okay.
okay, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Is there anything closing you would like to say here about our sport and what it means to trying to get justice and make something right here?
The first thing I want to say about the sport of coon hunting, or just houndsmen in general, it's not just coon hunters that have contacted me. It's not just coyote hunters. It's not beagle dog. It's everybody. I've had a couple big game guys from West Virginia contact me. I've had a couple people from New Mexico. They run big cats out there. Um, I've had people contact me from all over this world. I've had little old ladies from New York City that live in. Some lady said, "I live in New York City," and I've never had a coonhound before, but I had a dash hound when I was a kid, and I just remember how special that little dog was, and how that little dog loved to hunt everything when I was a kid. You know, it's so many people have reached out, and it's really sad that it takes a tragedy in this world nowadays to get people to unite. But I'll tell you what, when there's a tragedy, boy, the coon hunters got power in numbers. I did not know there were so many. I bet you I've added 750 people on Facebook in the last 48 hours. And this is not even exaggeration. I've not been on the phone all day since, well, I got home about 1 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. I tried to take me try to go to bed, but it only lasted like an hour nap. By 7:30 yesterday morning, my phone never stopped. Facebook never stopped. I finally went to bed at 12:30 last night. I put a post on there and said, "Hey, everybody, I've been up since 6:30 Thursday morning. I'm exhausted, mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm gonna try to lay down and go to sleep." I finally went to bed at midnight last night, 12:30. Bless my wife's heart. She kept my phone silenced until I woke up this morning at 10:30, and I sure needed it. And literally, since I woke up at 10:30 this morning, I think you was one of the first ones that I talked to this morning.
Yeah.
I've got several. I know of 3 other interviews that people are wanting to do like right now. You know, so I'm gonna get on to the next one. While we're on here, though, I do want to thank the Missouri Coon Hunters Federation for all they're doing. They set up a GoFundMe to get an attorney to push this thing. There's a couple of our local coon clubs that are setting up benefit hunts and silent auctions and doing events to help raise money and memorial for Katie.
And just let me know about them, and I'll throw them in here for everybody to see.
Okay. Katie wasn't just a coon dog. Katie was a very well known dog. I found out things yesterday about Katie and her 9 years of life that I didn't even know about Katie, and I owned her. Kane Foltz, I believe he's in Illinois or Indiana. His family is the one that raised Katie, and he called me and told me a lot about her. Matter of fact, he told me about a pair of pups that are out there out of her last litter of pups that I had no clue existed. And I've been looking high and low for puppies out of her. Didn't know they were existing, but I do now. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
And that's what
another,
the memories made here, brother. That's what a hound brings.
another thing I want to say, I've had no less than 300 or 400 people offer us puppies and stuff right now. And I appreciate the offers. Right now, I am puppy poor. I need an old dog. I've got one that's 9 weeks old, one that's 14 months, and one that's 18 months. I need an old dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I'm gonna wear out 10 pairs of boots trying to get these where they need to be. So
Well, I tell you what, man, after 3 days of absolute pure hell that you have been through, you got a good attitude. I think you're gonna do the right thing here. And folks,
you know what? The only thing that matters is that I get a hold of another good one for my son.
that's right.
That's gonna be a solid winner because we got some youth PKC hunts getting ready to come up here in the next few weeks. I'm sorry, I'm probably that mean dad, but I know the fire and the desire that boy has to hunt. I'm not going to be that dad that lets him stop. I'm going to be that, I'm that cowboy dad. No, get your butt back on. Just because you got bucked off don't mean you can cry about it. Shut up and get on. So that's where we're at right now.
Nothing wrong with being a fighter, brother. I
That's
know
where
Katie
we're at.
was.
She was. She sure was. She
Well,
went. She went out doing what she did. I mean, it's that simple. She went out treed. So it's all that
well,
matters.
Larry Grimes, I want to say thank you. Number
Appreciate it.
one, thank you
I
for
thank
talking with
you
me.
for reaching out to me. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
Well, it means a lot to me. You take the time out of your day to speak to me, and I'm sorry that we had to meet on this circumstance.
It
But
is what it is, brother.
I really hope to see you at a hunt here soon, and it's going to be an honor to shake your hand.
The good Lord does a lot of weird things, but he does them for a reason.
Amen.
Thank you.
Happy Easter,
Appreciate it.
everybody, and God bless.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Happy Easter, everybody. Bye.